Good evening, everyone. This is Kellyanne, the High Priestess, bringing you divine messages. Tonight's reading is for those of you with the Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus in the sign of Aries. We'll be taking a look at any current energy for you, as well as any obstacles or challenges that you might currently be facing. And then moving forward, we'll be looking at near future energy, as well as any issues that you might not be aware of. Okay, so let's cut the deck so that we can get started, and let's begin. Holy Spirit, guardian angels, my ancestors and loved ones that have crossed, thank you for this gift of divination. Thank you for your blessings as well as your protection. Spirit, as I attempt to interpret and clarify these messages and advice that you are channeling through me tonight, I ask that you please be as specific as possible so that I may provide accurate guidance for my seekers, my Aries viewers tonight. Let's get some current energy for Aries. Current energy, Spirit, thank you for Aries. Okay. Seven of Swords. We have the High Priestess in reverse. We have 10 of Wands in reverse. We have the King of Cups. We have the Queen of Cups. Very nice. And we have the Ace of Swords. And what obstacles or challenges may currently be facing Aries right now? Obstacles or challenges that may be facing Aries right now. Okay. Justice in reverse. Interesting. Okay. So right away, Aries, I'm sensing that you're currently dealing with feeling some kind of imbalance here. So we're going to take a look at your current energy to see what that might be. Okay. So right away, we're seeing this Seven of Swords next to the High Priestess in reverse. You may be dealing with a Pisces. This is the card that represents Pisces. And then we have the Ten of Wands in reverse. I'm getting the sense that the imbalance that you're struggling with right now, Aries, has to do with a fear or thoughts that don't necessarily suit you about this person, okay? You may feel like sometimes you can't rely on your intuition, or you may feel that perhaps there was an ending with this person in the past, and you're worried that this might happen again, okay? I think there's a struggle going on in your mind. That's what I'm picking up, because we have air energy here, we have air energy here, and swords are really about, and you have another one here. Swords are really about our thoughts. Okay, it can be about communication. It's about logical thinking, problem solving, and there's something going on here that's troubling you. There's something in the back of your mind and your subconscious that maybe is troubling you. You might be worried about something repeating itself here. Um, I see that there was an ending for you, which has already happened, right? Because it's a 10, that left you very, very physically exhausted and spent. Um, and I feel like you're sort of always worried about that happening again. You may feel like sometimes you're being manipulated, or you have a fear of, that actually happening again. This card, when it comes up in reverse, is just being really out of balance. So the fact that you have two cards that indicate that, and the fact that this is like an intuitive type of card, I think in this case, the Seven of Swords really has to do with almost a suppressed fear of going through something very, very traumatic again. And I feel because you have water energy 3 times here, this person may be a water sign. They could be a triple water sign. Um, you might have water in your chart as well, Aries. Um, because here's the thing. The King of Cups is a mature masculine energy, while the Queen of Cups is a mature feminine water energy, right? So you could be dealing, again, this one represents Pisces. This could be Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio as well, or somebody who has a mix of these signs in their chart. Um, the King of Cups is very emotionally stable, very loving, very nurturing. This king has mastered all of that water energy that allows them to give and receive love freely in relationships, very self assured. This is somebody who is able to show affection, but sometimes they have a hard time communicating their wants and needs effectively, right? And then we have the Queen of Cups, which is really the pair, of course, to the King of Cups. Now, the King of Cups, although this is a water sign, this person can have a very tough outer shell. So on the outward side, you see someone who's very tough, right? Because on the inside, they're very soft and they're kind of guarded, in terms of their emotions. But then when we look at the counterpart, the Queen of Cups, this would be the feminine energy side. This person in the reverse can be somewhat conceited, at sometimes selfish, even manipulative, um, a little bit out of sorts, I would say. Somebody who tries to manipulate to get what they want sometimes. And possibly that triggers up suppressed emotion of possibly something that lent itself to an ending in the past. And when you see this happening, or when these behaviors kind of show themselves with your person, it might lend you to feel very unbalanced and very out of whack, right? Because it's bringing up suppressed or even repressed emotion of something that you went through that was very, very traumatic. Okay. Now, even though this is a 10 and it has transpired already and it's over, the fact that it's in reverse is indicating to me that those memories, those feelings are still coming up, because this is your current energy. So it may be that you're not expressing that to your person, because sometimes the Seven of Swords, believe it or not, can kind of indicate not being transparent about something with your person, or perhaps you're worried about not being transparent with your person. Okay? Or maybe there's something that you need to share with your person that you're not, and you're being dishonest about it. Okay? Now, with this Ace of Swords, okay, the Ace of Swords, when it's in the upright, it really indicates, clarity, it indicates communication, it indicates a message, it indicates seeing things very clearly. But when it's in the reverse, it can indicate, not seeing things clearly, being confused, feeling like um, you're not able to communicate effectively. Like what you thought was just is actually unjust, if that makes sense. So in 3 indications here, Aries, we have a sense of imbalance here. Okay, so we need to get to the bottom of this. We need to see what's going on. So let's clarify what's up. So first, let's take a look at this Seven of Swords for Aries. What is this? What is this fear, this anxiety, or what are you not being clear about? Are you withholding information? Are you being sneaky about something? What is this? Is there something you're not sharing with your person and you know it's not fair? Do you feel like they're not sharing something with you and you feel like that's unfair? There's definitely something here that's making you feel a lack of balance here. Let's see. What is the Seven of Swords doing here for Aries? Let's find out. Spirit, why is the Seven of Swords here for Aries? Okay, we have the Five of Wands. You might be feeling, Aries, that there's a sense of competition here, or you feel that there's a sense of competition here. You might feel like you're always like sort of defending yourself, or you might feel like sometimes there's a lot of conflict and drama, or you might feel like there's like petty arguing, nonsense, that kind of thing. And perhaps it's bothering you more than you're aware of, because the High Priestess in reverse refers to like that imbalance in your subconscious, right? And again, you have that imbalance card here. You have an imbalance of feeling things are unfair, possibly here. And maybe you need to communicate to your person. Maybe you need to let them know what's on your mind instead of, covering it up, because when you do that, things just, it has that snowball effect, right? You may feel like your person has a hard outer shell and it's very hard to tap into who they are. You feel like they don't communicate their emotions effectively to you and you don't feel that's fair. Maybe you feel like you're communicating how you feel and the other person isn't. Could be why. Um, but ultimately, you might feel like something's unjust here. You might feel maybe you're giving more than the other person, or you might feel like your person is actually not being dishonest or just not being transparent with you about how they feel. Let's get some more information for this. Why is the High Priestess here in reverse? Why is the High Priestess here in reverse? We have the Fool. Okay, so here's a card for you, Aries. This card is the first card in the Major Arcana, right? The Fool has to do with almost like a childlike energy. It's a very impulsive energy. It's really an energy where you're not really caring too much about the consequences of your actions or the things that you say. It's a lighthearted kind of energy. It's an energy about adventure and just kind of being almost like silly and frivolous, right? And as an Aries, you are the first um, sign of the zodiac. So there is a childlike quality sometimes that can be associated with this card, right? And then you have water energy here. If you're dealing with a Pisces, this person would be at the end of the zodiac, the 12th sign of the zodiac, right? So it's like you're at the opposite ends of the spectrum. And sometimes that can be an issue in terms of how one person views the other person. Maybe if you're dealing with a Pisces, this could be somebody who sees you as, very childlike at times, and then you might see your person as very serious and very somber at times, if that resonates with you. If you're dealing with somebody who really has a very tough outer shell, and maybe it's hard for this person to communicate how they feel sometimes, that might be upsetting to you, um, because you're kind of open and more obvious in how you feel about your person. That could be what's going on here. So here we have Aries and Pisces, side by side. I was actually clarifying this card with this. Let me move these down so we can see. I can move this out of the way. Okay. Um, but sometimes the Fool card can also be an indication that you need to look before you leap. You need to kind of be mindful of things. Not everything is kind of always frivolous and silly. Like sometimes you have to, be a little bit more serious too. Um, okay, so let's clarify. Let's clarify this Ten of Wands. Why is this Ten of Wands showing up in reverse for Aries? Okay, strength. Okay, so remember I was saying earlier that with this Ten of Wands, this very traumatic, exhausting burden is coming to an end, or it already has for you. But it's still lingering in your current energy. So whatever transpired with you, where you felt like there was a huge unfair situation that happened with you had to rely on yourself. Like, I feel like when this card comes out, the strength card, it indicates, strong will and inner strength and all of that. But it also sometimes indicates to me someone having to go through it alone, right? Relying on themselves because they feel like they couldn't count on anyone else that time to help them. And they had to go through it, and be very strong and make decisions. On their own, right? And I feel like your strength might have been tapped out here. Like you just feel like you can't go through this again. And possibly that's, what you're worried about, because this card can represent deception. It can represent deceit. It can represent, somebody stabbing you in the back, really. Um, like unsavory motives, things like that. And that could have been very, very traumatic if you went through something like that. So if that's what's troubling you, that would make perfect sense here with these cards, right? Okay, so let's move forward. Um, Let me throw this over here. We're going to move forward with near future energy now for you, Aries, okay? So why, let's see. Actually, no. Okay. So, Spirit, can I have near future energy for Aries? Near future energy for Aries. Near future energy for Aries. Okay. I dropped the card. Sorry. Okay. I have the Eight of Pentacles. Talk about that in a minute. What else do we have for Aries moving forward? Okay. Okay. Three of Swords in reverse. Page of Cups, King of Swords, and we had one more on the bottom here, Eight of Wands in reverse. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Okay, so moving forward, you've been very diligent and very focused on turning your finances and your work ethic around with this card. The Eight of Pentacles is all about hard work. It's about effort. It's about achievement. It's about really fine tuning or focusing on the details and kind of, building your financial status, or bettering yourself, or working very hard at a craft so that it kind of like, pays off. Okay. Now, the thing is, though, with this Three of Swords here, me, when this card comes up in a reading, it really just signifies to me that there is some healing process that has been going on with you that is ultimately either like in a stagnant position or that it's blocked. And it needs to be worked on, okay? Because until you work on these things, conquering your fear about something resurfacing, or conquering your fear about possibly maybe being hurt again and having to go through a traumatic experience again, you're not going to be able to move on to your new path. Okay. So even though you're working very hard on the outside, unless the healing process is really first and foremost, emotionally and psychologically, you're going to have a hard time, being successful. Emotional transparency and emotions in general are sometimes very hard things for people to deal with, especially if you're not someone who usually is able to share how they feel about things. And when I say that, I'm not just saying, telling someone, oh, I love you, or showing appreciation. It's really talking about what happened in your life, how that made you feel, how you're going to view those things moving forward, what you'd like the outcome to be. Really, this kind of stuff is something more that would be handled like in a therapy session, something therapeutic, where there's no judgment and where there is work to be done, but not necessarily in an environment with someone that maybe makes you feel uncomfortable, right? Or maybe you can't be as open as you'd like to be. So sometimes that's why people go into therapy, because the person is not known to them, and it's much easier to be open when you don't have to worry about hurting someone else's feelings, or making them upset by what you're saying, right? Um, Now, with this Page of Cups, again, this is another childlike energy with a page here. This is like a creative, imaginative kind of card. You might have ideas, about things. You might have, things that you want to accomplish. And maybe you have some ideas in the mix here. But the thing is, sometimes there is a situation here that is showing me that there's a little bit of domination here, being domineering, being a little bit mentally manipulative, right? This person can be very rigid and very controlling. And often when somebody needs to be controlling all the time, that really subconsciously comes from fear of not having control, right? So when somebody comes off as being very arrogant, very controlling, very bossy, sometimes it's out of fear that they're going to lose control, right? So they want to have everything their way because that's easier to manage, right? We don't have to feel things when everything is our way. It's when things are not going our way that we have a harder time um, coping, right? It also can be a result of feeling like a failure, feeling like, things fell apart, feeling like things didn't work out. And as a result of that, what happened was, you went through a very traumatic ending that left you completely psychologically and emotionally depleted here. Um, you're waiting for some news here. I'm seeing Aries in the future. The Eight of Wands in reverse can represent a delay or stalling in news coming in. You might have been waiting for some communication, which I feel you should be hearing about shortly, if you haven't already. Um, and I think it has to do with some ideas and thoughts that you're having about, the future and what you'd like to see, based on all of the hard work and everything that you've done to kind of improve yourself, over time. Um, I think you've been working hard on certain things, and I think anything that has to do with this emotional piece is something that can be worked through, but it is a process and it is work. So the fact that this is a work card and the work has to do with emotional healing, I think overall it may stall the process. But I think ultimately, as you move forward, if you're open to dialogue and open to conversations about feelings and emotions and fears and anxiety, I think you might establish that sense of justice again. Okay, you might establish that balance that needs to be here for you. Okay, so let's just take a look at the Three of Swords in reverse. Why is this here? Or Q. It has to do with your relationship, the lovers, yeah. Um, you're worried. You're worried. Maybe your fear is that this could happen again, right? Nobody wants to go through pain. Nobody wants to go through suffering. Nobody wants to go through loss of a loved one and upheaval of their home life and things like that. But, you know, it's all about trusting our judgment and trusting that you are able to make good choices for yourself, right? And knowing that if this person really is your union, your soul tie, your twin flame, um, then things will work themselves out, right? So let's take a look at this. What is the information that you've been waiting for? Okay, well, look at that. You have the Chariot. Okay, well, this is a beautiful card to end with. The Chariot has to do with moving forward in a very fast way. It has to do with overcoming obstacles and challenges and kind of breaking through barriers. And it has to do with not only being able to manifest what it is that you want in your mind, but actually charging forward to it and being successful. This is a triumph card. So I think whatever delays you have been experiencing in moving towards those things that you've been thinking about, I think that ultimately, success is yours, Aries. This is what I'm getting. Okay. Um, let's take a look at a soul's journey card for you. Let's see where you are. I have a soul's journey card for Aries. What do you want Aries to know? What message do you have for Aries today? Oh, you have a few. Look at this. Wow, you have a few. You have failure, right? That ties into that. I understand that a mistake is only an opportunity to learn. You also have acceptance. I am learning to accept the things that I cannot change. Where have we heard that before? We also have abundance. I am a limitless being and I can manifest whatever I desire in this physical reality. We just spoke about that, right? Humor. I choose to focus on the lighter side of life, right? Maybe you're someone who has a great sense of humor. You like to tell jokes. And then you also have regret. I know that I cannot change the past, right? So all of these cards tie into almost everything that was said here. Sometimes it's amazing how these cards really do paint a picture and tie into one another. Um, I think overall, having this card come up at the end, it's all going to work out for you, Aries. I really do. That's what I have for you today. I hope that this message has been helpful for you in some way and has answered questions that you may have had in your mind. And I look forward to our next reading. Until then, God bless.